Hello and happy new year. This is 2017 and I thought I would start the new year off by looking back at the previous year. So I'm going to share with you guys some of my favorite products of 2016, mainly beauty products. I have quite a few different things that I want to talk to you guys about. I actually had a really, I wouldn't say difficult time, but when I was trying to think of products I discovered this past year in 2016, for some reason 2015 and 2016 were kind of merging together in my mind, because I guess it's really because I'm still using and loving the same products that I was loving the previous year. Still really loving the same skincare routines, still really loving the same blushes. However, there are some new products that I wanted to share with you guys because as I was going through my collection, there were a few products that I discovered, a few brands that I discovered this past year that are worth mentioning. I'm gonna start with my very favorite face palette of this past year. Actually, this brand is a brand that I discovered this past year because it was recently launched in Canada. Charlotte Tilbury. I have been really loving her beauty products. I really love her lipstick, especially the Matte Revolution. I have a couple of other products I want to share with you guys, but this Charlotte Tilbury Instant Look in a palette for the Natural Beauty was one of my favorite buys this past year because it just has everything that I could want in a palette. This was the perfect travel palette for me. This is one that I brought with me on some of the trips that I went on this past year. So all the colors in here are just my taste, and it's a perfect everyday palette for me. So I love the eyeshadows. This past year I've been trying to wear a little bit more eyeshadow on the regular because I have eyeshadow in my collection and I just rarely ever reach for it. They blend very beautifully so you can create a really nice natural look with them. The bronzer and the highlighter are very similar to the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Glow palette, I believe, which I still have not picked up, and the main reason is because I have very similar shades in this palette, but it's still on my wish list. And then the highlight is really nice. It reminds me a little bit of the Becca Moonstone highlight, so it's really nice, offers a really nice glow to the cheeks. And then the blushes are really nice too. They're very soft, warm pink colors. This palette overall is a very warm palette, which I tend to gravitate towards anyway. I have a lot of makeup palettes in my collection right now, but this is definitely my favorite one. While we're talking about Charlotte Tilbury, the two other products that I wanted to mention are the Airbrush Flawless Finish Skin Perfecting Micro Powder, which is a very long name, and then also the Matte Revolution Lipstick in Bond Girl. So this is the powder that I have been using very frequently. I actually always keep this in my purse, in my makeup bag, so I can touch up throughout the day if I need to. This is just a really finely milled powder. This is the powder I wore on my wedding day actually. So it's just a really finely milled powder. It blends beautifully. It has a really nice airbrush finish to it. For the lipstick, this is what I'm wearing today. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Bond Girl. This is a really cult favorite lipstick, and I really like it. This lipstick is a chameleon, and I say that because it looks different on everyone. So on me, it has more of a kind of browny plum shade to it, but on other people, depending on I guess the natural color of their lips or their skin tone, it looks a lot more plummy, and then on others it looks a little bit more brown. So it's a really great lipstick. It suits a lot of people, and again, it just looks different on everyone, but however way it falls on your lips, it just looks great on. And this is one of my favorite lipsticks this past year. I use it all the time. Whenever I am unsure of what lipstick I want to wear, it is honestly a toss-up between this and the Hourglass lipstick in Fresco. But lately I have been gravitating more towards this one. The other lip product that I wanted to mention is the Lancome Juicy Shaker. So this was a new release in 2016 and I absolutely love this. This is actually my second one of this particular color. So this is Piece of Cake, and I had to repurchase this because I wore it to death. It's just a really pretty mauve-y neutral color on the lips, and it is very hydrating on the lips. It is so comfortable to wear. It doesn't obviously last all day long, but even once the color kind of fades away, it still leaves your lips really comfortable. So it's a really great just slap on your lips and go kind of shade, and I love it so much I had to repurchase it. Surprisingly, I did not pick up a lot of blushes in the past year. Blush is my kryptonite. I usually usually go nuts for blush. But this past year I kind of tried to hone myself in and I didn't pick up a lot of new blushes. I only picked up a couple of new cheek products and I am really happy that I did because I really like them. The first one is the Bite Beauty Multistick. So this is a multi-stick, which means that it's marketed to be used in multiple places, so on your cheeks, your lips, and your eyes. I have only used this on my cheeks, and that is the only way I plan to use it because I don't like to use the same product in multiple areas. I just think that's a little unhygienic. So if you haven't already noticed, but I gravitate to shades like this like a moth to a flame. I just really love this kind of mauvey, rosy pink shade. I have it in different forms of blushes. I have it in different forms of lipsticks. I just really love this color family on my skin tone. So this is a really great cream blush. It blends beautifully. It actually lasts a surprisingly long time. I get about 6 to 7 hours of wear using this product alone, and I can get about 12 hours of wear if I top a similar shade of blush over this, or even a translucent setting powder. So this is a really great cream product. It has really great lasting power. It's really easy to blend and it looks great on the skin. The other blush that I picked up, and I'm very happy I did, is the Becca Luminous blush in Camelia. So again, this was a new launch this past year. I really love this color because it just looks so beautiful and natural on the cheek. It gives you kind of that glow from within look. It has a very beautiful sheen to it, but it's not overly sparkly or glittery or shiny, which I really like. This is the blush that I'm actually wearing today, and don't be fooled by the vibrancy in the pan, because as long as you blend it correctly and you apply a little bit at a time, this will work for any skin tone. You just have to be a little bit careful of how you apply it, and it just blends really easily on the cheek. And I think I wore this also on my wedding day in combination with the NARS Orgasm blush, and it's just a really pretty blush. I love this collection. I wanted to pick up more of the blushes from this collection, but this is the color that kind of stood out to me the most. So I haven't really gone back to check out the other colors, but they have a really nice color selection. I made a few highlighter purchases this past year, but these two are my favorites. So I have to for sure mention the Estee Lauder and Victoria Beckham collaboration, because this collection launched the highlighter that got away for me. I have wanted Modern Mercury for years. They came out a few years ago and I kind of hemmed and hawed about picking it up because I was thinking, I don't really need another highlighter. I don't really wear highlighter at the time. I didn't really wear highlighter on the daily, so I didn't think I needed it. But after it sold out, I realized that I actually really wanted it and I couldn't find it anywhere, and they have not re-released it since. So for years, I kind of sat hoping and wishing that Modern Mercury would rear its head in the beauty industry again, and it finally did, at a bit of a premium price because of the collaboration with Victoria Beckham. This was, I think, what, $78 for this pan, but I'm so happy that I picked it up. I absolutely love this highlighter. It did not disappoint. It is a beautiful kind of champagne rose gold, silky smooth highlighter. It is very similar to the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in rose gold, but this has a little bit more vibrancy to it. It's a little bit brighter, it has a little bit more shimmer to it, it has a bit more sheen to it. But if you can't get your hands on this, which you probably can't because it's sold out very quickly, check out the Becca in rose gold because it has a very similar undertone. This one is just a little bit brighter. So even though I absolutely love Modern Mercury and I'm so glad that I picked this up, my best highlighter purchase of this past year has to be the Laura Mercier Matte Radiance Baked Powder in Highlight 01. I never quite understood the name of this, and I think that's why it took me so long to pick it up or discover it. However, I swatched it in the store and I gave it a shot, and it is amazing. It is such a beautiful, natural looking highlighter. Again, very similar to the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Moonstone, but this is much more subtle on the skin, and it's really difficult to overdo this on the skin. It just looks really beautiful and natural. This just adds a beautiful natural glow to the tops of your cheekbones, and it is amazing. It does not have the chunks of glitter or the flecks of shimmer. It just looks really beautiful and natural on. So this has got to be my favorite highlighter purchase of the past year, and I look forward to using this more in 2017. Like I said, I'm trying to use a little bit more eyeshadow on the regular because I do have quite a few, not quite a few, but I do have a few palettes that I rarely ever use. So this past year I've been playing around with different eyeshadows, and I've kind of been falling back into MAC eyeshadows, but my favorite eyeshadow purchase of this past year has got to be from Burberry. I really love their eyeshadows. One is the eye color in Almond, which is number 103, and this is just a really plain looking eyeshadow. It's actually what I have on my lids right now, but this is a great shadow because even though it looks really boring, it is definitely a staple in my collection. It's so easy to just take your brush, slap it on the eyelid, it blends beautifully, and you know, you look a little bit more put together in the eye department. I have to say that my favorite base this past year is the Chantecaille Future Skin. So this comes in a little pot, and I don't know if you can tell, but I'm pretty much almost finished this pot, which is kind of crazy. It usually takes me forever to use up a base. This still does not surpass my all-time favorite, which is the Chantecaille Just Skin, but this is a really great second best for me. I really like how easy this is to apply because it's very lightweight, it blends very easily. However, I do not like the jar packaging. I think it's a little bit unhygienic to always be scooping a bit out with your finger. So I always use these little spatulas that I pick up at Sephora, but I really like the consistency of this. This is not a full coverage kind of foundation, at least for me, and that's never what I'm looking for. Even though I have blemishes on my skin, I rarely ever try to cover them up unless I'm, I don't know, going to a really special fancy event where I want to have really flawless skin. That's rarely the case for me, so I don't mind if any of my blemishes or dark spots kind of peek through a little bit. So if you also don't mind that, you can check this out. It just gives your skin a little bit more of an even finish without looking like a mask, which is what I look for. You definitely have to set this with a powder though, because it will slip and slide if you don't. There have been some really great concealer launches this past year, but my ultimate favorite one, I guess, would have to be the Urban Decay Naked Skin. I'm saying this one is my favorite one this past year because obviously it has to be. I've used up pretty much the entire tube of this. So I picked this up probably around April and I am almost finished it. This is really similar to the Bare Minerals one, which I also really like, but for some reason I just kept reaching for this more. Even though in my mind they're so similar that they're almost interchangeable, I must have liked this a little bit more because this is the one that I would reach for the most. This is a very fluid concealer, so it's a little bit more liquid than the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer or even the Sephora Future Gel one, which I still love both of those and I still have it in my collection. This one feels maybe a little bit more moisturizing, so it works really well under the eyes for me and it blends really nicely. There are two standout brow products for me in 2016, and one is the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer and the other one is the Essence Make Me Brow, which is the brow gel. This brow pencil from L'Oreal is amazing. I have not repurchased the Anastasia Brow Wiz because I discovered this. I just really like it and it's more affordable. This and the Anastasia Brow Wiz in dark brown are interchangeable. I can use one or the other and not really notice the difference. So I absolutely love this. This was a really good find in 2016. The other great find for brow products is the Essence Make Me Brow. So this is pretty much an exact dupe of the Benefit Gimme Brow and I love it. So it is just a tinted brow gel. It comes in two shades. Comes in a light to medium and then a medium to dark, so I got the medium to dark obviously, and it just works really well. It keeps your hairs in place, it doesn't make it feel crunchy, and also gives them a little bit of a tint, and there's some like microfibers in there to help plump up your eyebrows. Don't really notice that effect too much, but I do really like how this makes my brows look a little bit fuller. My favorite nail launch of this past year is from Essie. So they launched these Essie Gel Coutures. I think they came out in 2016. At least that's when I discovered them, but they are basically these gel polishes where you don't have to use a UV lamp, and I really like these. I like the bottle, I like the applicator, I like the shade collection. It is getting bigger and bigger every season. I only have maybe 3 polishes from this collection. I have like this pale pink one, which is in pre-show jitters. I have a red one, and then I have a blue. But I think the star of the show is the top coat. The top coat just makes your nails, your nail polish last so much longer than average, and it has a really nice glossy finish. So I find that even if I just use a top coat over a regular Essie nail polish, it will last a couple days extra, which is really awesome. So this is definitely my favorite like nail launch of the past year. A brush that I have to mention, actually 2 brushes that I have to mention that I am obsessed with. One is the Wayne Goss, I think they call it the Air Brush. I'm not sure if this is limited edition, but it's just like a flat, small paddle brush. But this is perfect for everything. I use it for everything. I want to pick up another one because I use this brush all the time. I use it for setting powder, so I really like to use it with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush powder. I use this for bronzer. I use it for blush. The only thing I don't use this for is contouring because I feel like you need a more precise and a little bit, you know, rigid brush for that. But for everything else, this is perfect. I love it. It's so soft. It has held up really well despite the multiple washes, and it is just so compact that you can bring it with you anywhere. The other brush I have to mention is the Real Techniques setting brush. So this one is the one I use for either one, setting my under eye concealer, which I rarely do because normally when I just set my entire face, I just use this brush and I just sweep it under the eyes too. But I also really like this for contouring. It just fits really nicely in the hollows of the cheek and it blends really well. So this is a really great brush for that, and I'm really glad that I picked it up. I only have a couple more things to share with you guys. I have a hair thing, skincare, and a fragrance. So let's start with the hair. My favorite dry shampoo of the past year has been from Drybar. So this is the Drybar Detox Dry Shampoo, and it just smells really great. It absorbs all of those oils. It doesn't weigh your hair down, and it refreshes your hair. I mean, really that's all you can ask for in a dry shampoo, but I really like the scent of this. It feels like I just washed my hair. It smells so good. I'm not sure if I've mentioned these in a video before, but these are the Muji Cotton, and you guys will know that for years and years I was obsessed with the Shiseido facial cotton. So these are the Muji facial cotton, and they are so good. They are exactly like the Shiseido facial cotton, no compromises. They're made the same way, they feel the same way, and these are a fraction of the cost. I think these are $3 or $4. It's a really great deal. These feel really great on the skin. They are absorbent, they don't tear easily, and they're just really awesome. These are my favorite facial cotton. These are the ones that I repurchased again and again this past year or the past couple of years, and the ones that I will continue to repurchase because they're such a good deal. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is a fragrance. So this is the Diptyque Eau Rose, and I picked this up at the beginning of the year, probably not the beginning, maybe April-ish, and I've used up half of the bottle already. And I just really love this scent. If you're not a huge rose person, then you may not like this. I will say it doesn't smell like your traditional rose, which is a good thing because even that can be a little bit off-putting. So it's actually a really fresh rose scent. This smells exactly like one of my favorite limited edition Diptyque candles. I think it's called Rosamundi, something like that. But it smells exactly like that, and that's kind of what I love about it. I also wore this on my wedding day actually, and I just love this fragrance. It always brings me back to my wedding day. So it just brings back lots of, you know, ooey gooey lovely memories in me, and that's one of the reasons why I really like it. It's just a really light, fresh scent. The only thing that disappoints me about this is the fact that it doesn't last all day. So it maybe lasts 4 hours on me, which is not great, but I really love the scent, so I don't mind spritzing it over again. So those were my favorites. 2016 was a really great year. I had a lot of milestones. It was the year that I got married, so it's always gonna have a special place in my heart. So I am really looking forward to what 2017 and 2018 and 2019. I'm just really looking forward to the years to come. It's really exciting to see how the world is changing, how technology is changing, how everything is changing, and I am just happy to be a part of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I hope you guys are having a wonderful start to the new year, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye.